Your meditation session is not supposed to be controlling the mind or forcing your breath to behave in a certain way. Meditation is more feminine than masculine in the way that you're not supposed to control and force anything. You are supposed to just relax and allow the mind to behave the way it does, and then allow it to take the time it needs to relax. So this is what we are going to talk about today in this video, and the idea is to help you deal with emotionally charged material that can come in the meditation session. There is a certain framework that I wanted to share with you, and hopefully that is helpful. So it will happen that in if you continuously meditate, then you will experience that you are more calmer. There is less turbulence, less storm in your mind, and things settle down. Now, when this happens, what can also occur is कि आपकी लाइफ के कुछ बहुत डीपली पेनफुल मोमेंट्स या मेमोरीज या डीपली पेनफुली ingrained materials can then surface up. Now this is happening because you have begun to get clarity and emptiness, some space in your mind. Before meditation, these painful situations are there, but you unconsciously just react to them and not being able to clearly see them when it happens. So it is in the meditation that you will be able to experience these things, these painful emotions that can come up. Now, the way to deal with them, as I have said previously, is to ignore them or just be with them as long as possible. It will be there in your peripheral awareness, but your attention is still focused in your breath. That's the first step. Now, the second step is when you feel that no, this is something which is bothering me in my multiple meditation sessions, then you bring that painful memory or that deeply hurtful thing in the center of your attention. So that becomes your meditation object. You meditate on that. ठीक है? Now comes the important part of the framework. First is to acknowledge the validity of that particular painful memory or whatever it is that you are hurting, that's hurting you. And the way to acknowledge is don't say that I am angry or I am feeling regret. Say that regret is happening, pain is emerging, anger is arising. सो अगर आप इस तरीके से फ्रेम करेंगे तो आप वो खुद को उस पेनफुल इमोशन से डिसोसिएट कर पाएंगे. बिकॉज अगर आप आई एम बोलते हो तो आप एसोसिएट कर रहे हो, जो कि आपको करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. और यही एक पार्ट ऑफ मेडिटेशन है. मेडिटेशन का मेन लेसन ही यही है कि आप उसको कोई भी चीज़ को आप ऑब्जेक्टिवली देखना शुरू करते हो, नॉट गेटिंग इमोशनल एंड रिएक्टिव अबाउट इट. तो फर्स्ट स्टेप ये है कि आपको एक्नॉलेज करना है कि हाँ, दिस इज समथिंग दैट इज हैपनिंग टू नॉट टू मी, बट दिस इज समथिंग दैट इज हैपनिंग. तो सी इट ऑब्जेक्टिवली. ठीक है. सेकेंड इंपॉर्टेंट स्टेप होता है अलाउ करना, टू अलाउ दैट पेनफुल इमोशन और दैट मेमोरी टू बी देयर. अब ये करना पर्टिकुलरली डिफिकल्ट इसलिए है क्योंकि यूजुअली हम पेन अवॉइड करना चाहते हैं. हम जो भी हमें अगर पेनफुल, हम कोई भी डिफिकल्ट सिचुएशन में रहते हैं तो बॉडी का नेचुरल रिस्पॉन्स होता है कि हाउ टू ओवरकम इट, हाउ टू अवॉइड इट एज सून एज पॉसिबल. बट द चेंज इन मेडिटेशन इज टू बी विथ द प्रॉब्लम, just to allow the pain to stay. Now, I know this can sound very counterintuitive for a lot of people because the whole idea or the objective is to get rid of pain, but this is the process or the path that matters. And the important step is to allow that painful situation or the memory to be there with you. You have to experience it once it's in your attention. And you have to do it without analyzing or judging it. तो होगा ये मेडिटेशन में कि जब भी कुछ ऐसा चीज़ आपके मेन अटेंशन में आएगी, ऑटोमेटिकली थॉट्स चालू हो जाएंगे. या तो आप खुद को जज करेंगे कि हाउ कैन आई बी सो केयरलेस, व्हाई डिड आई लेट दिस हैपन, समथिंग ऑफ दैट सॉर्ट. या फिर आप उसको एनालाइज करने लगेंगे विच इज़ एन अनदर थॉट सीक्वेंस. तो हमें ये भी नहीं चाहिए. You don't need to analyze and judge it. You just allow it to be there. Just watch it like an animal which is you want to take care of. Just be objective about it. And finally, the third step of the framework is to accept that this painful memory, this part, this episode is a part of my life. It has happened. It is something that has happened in the past. It is no more the reality of my current situation. Although there can be consequences that you have suffered and your situation is that right now, but acceptance is a very important part कि जो हुआ है that is a part of my story, and you have a fresh beginning in this very moment with this very breath. तो ये framework है which I want to suggest you to try out whenever you feel difficult in whenever you come in contact with some difficult memories or feelings in your meditation practice. Just to summarize, first, stay with it, ignore it maybe, but if it is happening continuously, bring it to your attention. Just watch it objectively. And the three steps are: first, to acknowledge that this exists without being emotional about it or identifying with it. Second step is to allow it to be there. Stay with the pain, experience it. That's the second step. And finally, the third is to accept that this is now a part of my life and now I want to move ahead or I want to stay in the present. Hope this works for you. Let me know in the comments if you have any thoughts on this. Take care, keep meditating. That Adda.